side, please.
All right, so what do you guys think of September Fashion Month? Have you been impressed? Are you wowed? Are you inspired by the latest fashions and designs you've seen on these red carpets?
Honestly, nobody did it for me at the Met. I'm gonna be real with you. Nobody did it for me at the Met. I feel like, I don't think that anybody really did what the theme called for. What was it, American Freedom?
I was saying, what was the official theme?
Right, and the fact that you even have to ask that goes to show you. What was it, Tim? It's American Freedom, right? Or like
the official 2021 Met Gala theme, America, a lexicon of fashion.
You didn't see no American nothing. Like nothing that I saw gave me American. If I had been invited to the Met Gala in my wildest dreams, I would have done some sort of couture slavery situation. And that's what I would have gave as far as American freedom was concerned, because that's what American freedom gave to me and my people, and that's how I would have represented it. That's how I would have gagged people at the Met Gala. No one really gagged me. People came looking crazy.
The Met Gala is referred to as fashion's biggest night out. It's a fundraising benefit for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, which coincides with an exhibit hosted by the Costume Institute. With the money and influence circulating the event, the gala's red carpet has become iconic for contemporary fashion. What makes the 2021 gala tragic is the lack of creativity inspired by the theme. Nothing reflective of space-age erotica, the psychedelic era, folk glam, or American bondage. Not to mention, looks designed by American designers were scarce, leaving one to wonder if either the guests disregarded the event's theme or American fashion has no identity.
Yeah, people look nice, but ultimately, if it's the Met, you're supposed to bring it. Like, it's avant-garde, it's couture.
Yeah. I know Kim K, I guess, got a lot of publicity for her look, but it didn't really do anything for me.
She got a lot of publicity for it, but it had nothing to do with the theme for me. And then also, didn't she wear, like, she's been covering her face in public a lot lately. Mm-hmm. So like, it wasn't anything that was different from 2 nights before when she wore damn near the same thing, all black. You know what I'm saying?
You got me.
I wasn't really impressed.
I wasn't really impressed by anybody other than, like I said, homeboy from Insecure with the black pinstripe suit that had like Ahmaud Arbery and
all the names. Yeah,
the names in the pinstripe. That was cool or whatever. But
I've seen that done too already. His was done.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't really original. It didn't do anything for me. I don't think it was a triumphant return for fashion, to be completely honest with you. It's the same way I actually feel about Fashion Week. I don't feel like it was a triumphant return for fashion.
Okay, well then I have a question. To avert another fashion massacre at the Met, do you foresee more celebrities and influentials turning to emerging stylists? And if so, will access to resources matter?
But people used to gag with no access back in the day. I've seen plenty of people have gagging effects on different campuses here, there, and everywhere back in the day. Look at the drag queens. They have no access and they gag with effects on a regular basis. They in their basement sewing and all types.
That's what I'm saying. Talent is everywhere. It's everywhere.
Okay, so then
I know if I ever were to make it on a big stage, I would love to wear a Tempest Harmon original. I'm just saying.
Well, and sisters better gag me. Gag me down.
Which takes me to my next question. Where do you see the virtual future of American influence in 3 years?
Ask me again. I'll go first, but ask me again.
Where do you see the virtual future of American influence in 3 years?
The virtual future of American influence.
In 3 years.
I need more context.
I have a reason as to why I'm asking.
Virtual influence. I need more context. Now you're talking about music, you're talking about fashion, art. What are you talking about?
So
just
let's
culture?
D all the above. So China has introduced this key opinion leader.
KOL is a trusted, well-respected influencer with proven experience and expertise in a particular field.
They've created these virtual influencers to disrupt the beauty industry. So they're not really modeling clothes. They're not modeling runway looks. It's all beauty stuff. So they're called imperfect virtual personalities, like blemishes, maybe a scar here and there, a little cellulite, because they're supposed to be imperfect. And China came up with this concept sometime during 2020, and it was a big hit because they were seeing a rise in the demand for plastic surgery and more filters to show people in a better version of themselves.
In short, to capitalize/disrupt the chase for perfection, they've introduced the imperfect influencer to shake up the cosmetic and beauty industry. However, with the rise in popularity, these easy-to-manage employees have the potential to sell goods in various product categories.
And it's really more catered to the post-90s generation, which really supports these 3D people, because a lot of these virtual influencers already have over 300K followers on social media and growing.
It just sounds weird, but I understand the reasoning behind it, because yes, plastic surgery, it's just, I see videos of flights from the Dominican, everybody getting their butts done, it's everyone is just hating themselves and going under the knife and really just chopping themselves up. So I definitely can see.
Not chopping themselves up, sis.
They are. It is crazy.
No, they are. You're right. I was just weak at the terminology.
But so I can understand their want to do that. I guess doing it. There are actual real people with imperfections. Why does everything have to be fake? That is fake. That's a fake, imperfected person.
Yeah.
It just seems what are we doing? What's happening?
But it's popular, it's successful. The post-90s generation is eating these avatars or 3D bots or virtual disruptors, whatever you want to call them. They're enjoying them. And
I'm not surprised about that, because this is the thing. China, that's a market in and of itself where, they do stuff like that. They have virtual boyfriends like that, virtual mates that don't really even exist. They have Tamagotchi boyfriends, basically. So I'm not surprised that people are able to, basically, what do you call it, personification? When you give something a human-like, feature or whatever that's not actually human. I'm not surprised that they're able to do that and relate to it at all. I just don't understand the need for it to be fake, because again, there are people with real imperfections. And what I'm noticing here in America, as far as advertising and marketing and things like that is concerned, with certain big brands such as a Victoria's Secret, they're using real women, not real women in the sense of they were using fake ones before, but women with real bodies. They're using the cellulite, shit like that. Dove. You look at their advertisements, and they've got people with vitiligo up there, and people with all types of different things going on with their skin up there as well, to represent, I guess, the real people. The thing about millennials is that they want to see themselves reflected in the brands that they support. They're not they're not out here supporting because they want it to make them perfect. They want to support things that support them.
Which
and what it looks like to me.
But it begs the question: if millennials didn't demand those things, would these businesses have made these changes real?
Of course not.
Oh.
Of course not. That's how change happens, though, is that the majority has to demand it. That's on any level.
New change is I want a 3D person. I don't want them to.
I can't.
I want to relate to something that's not necessarily real but imperfect. I said post-90s. This is legit.
Can we just live in the real world? Why are we trying to be in this digital oblivion?
They have a different relationship with the internet than we do. They came up with it already we came up with it in the sense that it developed with us, but they came along in a sense where the internet was already established. It was already a thing. It's familiar to them. They've always known it. So like, it doesn't really surprise me that they connect with it the way that they do. It's always been around. It's tried and it's like flipping on a light switch to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I anticipate being able to flip on a light switch no matter where I go, unless the power happens to be off for whatever reason. But ultimately, I don't go places that don't have electricity. Right. and that's how millennials are for me.
I just worry, like, where does this then lead down to? Like, you know, where does this go next then at that point? Like, if we're just,
I don't know, like, I still look at internet as
like the detachment, like, I'm worried about the detachment that they have with reality.
Oh, it's there. I mean, it's there. There's nothing to worry about in the sense of, oh my God, what might happen. It's already, if you want to worry about it, just start worrying now because it's going to happen. They're definitely already detached. And that's just what they do. Like I said, like, they came up in a situation where the internet is something they take for granted. You know what I'm saying? You know, all of us came up in a situation where the internet might have been considered a luxury. You know, you didn't always have the internet. It wasn't always reliable. You might have had it for a little bit. Then you changed providers and then you didn't have it for a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, it was extra slow and you couldn't.
Exactly. These kids came up with an iPad in their hand. They, you know what I'm saying? Like with an iPod touch in their hand. So like internet, Wi-Fi, all of that stuff is like 100% taken for granted for them. It doesn't surprise me at all. They don't know. These are the same kids that was eating Tide Pods a few, months ago. Like that, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all that they would rather see a fake person with imperfections than the person next door with,
or themselves. Like, what are you doing?
Or themselves, right? Because they're ultimately not perfect. So like, yeah, like 100%.
That is extremely concerning.
To a child who doesn't read, the world is a closed book, drifting, dropping back, dropping out. That's why a nationwide organization named RIF, Reading is Fundamental, was formed, to help get books into the hands of children who have no books of their own. A book a child can pick out himself, for keeps. A book that really belongs to him and makes him want to read. It works. There are more than 150 local RIF programs starting up in communities like yours. They're proving that once you start a child reading, there's no stopping him. If America is to grow up thinking, reading is fundamental. To find out how you can help, write to RIF Incorporated, Smithsonian Institution, Washington, D.C.
Subscribe, please.
Things you learned in the streets.
I would say mind your business.
Now that's a good. Now that's 101 right there.
Mind your business.